Hi everyone, I have the pleasure today of speaking with Piero Casanova, a lawyer specialized in intellectual, industrial, and new technologies law, and also a university professor known for his engaging teaching style and dedication. Good evening, Professor. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. I'd just like to ask, how has your day been so far?
Well, thank you, Andrea, for this lovely opportunity to speak on the matter. I'm very thrilled and honored to just engage with you as well on this level. And yeah, just thank you so much. Well, my day has been pretty good. I can't lie. I've received some really good news. And yeah, it's been really good. How are you?
Great. Also, really glad to have you here. Well, to begin, I'd like to start talking about your academic path. I've really been looking forward to hearing about your experiences as a lawyer and also as an educator. You have achieved something that many students admire, pursuing a master's degree at such a young age. What inspired you to take the step so early in your career?
Well, I think it's just a matter of trying to find your purpose with the law. And luckily for me, I had the privilege to become be a part of the assistant investigators or researchers program. And yeah, that's what helped me to find, again, my way or my path, try to fuse or combine my passion and my profession, which is the art of DJing and also the law, of course.
That's very admiring and insightful also.
Thank you.
So, speaking of early decisions, as a student, did you ever feel uncertain about which area of law to specialize in? And what helped you make your decision?
Yes, yes, that's actually a pretty big challenge, actually. But speaking specifically on the professional aspect of our lives, yes, I was very, very uncertain. I wasn't even certain why I had studied law in the beginning. It was more of a family preference or influence that my parents had on me that I decided to study law in the first place. And then what helped me, again, find my path was first discarding what I didn't want to do, what type of law or which type of area of expertise I didn't want to see myself involved in. So, what I did was literally try different areas of the law in my different internships. I was trying to find my way, but I had to go through, these challenges and certain discomforts, I guess you can say, because it was very uncomfortable for me to be in these sort of areas and environments, work environments that I had to discard again. What was it made for me?
It's encouraging hearing about how you find your direction and a very brave way to see it. So, once you had that clarity, how do you go about building your professional profile? What helped you stand out given how competitive the legal field is nowadays for internships and jobs?
If I were to go in retrospective mode, I'd say that not giving up, and even though, or even because of the uncertainties, like just still go at it and try to do my best. I think that that's key. Really, emotional intelligence, mental strength, because it's very demanding. And some colleagues have even told me that could be even in certain aspects, objective aspects, a toxic profession because it could be very time consuming, very demanding, lots of emotions, lots of stress. So, really, really have to be very careful with that, very wise as well. But it takes time. And again, what also helped me was amidst the challenges, always staying focused. And once I found my, I guess, purpose, you can say, yeah, no, not I guess, I'm convinced that my purpose, in intellectual property law and specifically, or more precisely, copyright law, because I see the law also as a means, not as an end per se. And I believe, yeah, the law is there to really help us achieve, our dignity, or yeah, help us realize ourselves as human beings, fulfill our purposes, and protect our human dignity.
Right, right. That's absolutely right. And that sounds also like a solid strategy to take advantage of these opportunities we have nowadays. Were there any specific activities or platforms you participated and recommended in that help you develop your legal or academic skills?
Yes, for sure. I was able to be a part of Olga Alcantara's assistant investigation team or research team, and she was my professor, and so she saw like this gift or vocation, and I basically took advantage of that in the most positive sense. Yeah, just really, like I said, carpe diem, like literally seizing the opportunity, seizing the day. And specifically, the institution was the Institution of Scientific Inquiry or Scientific Investigation in the University of Lima, which would be IDIC. And I was able to help my professor, Olga, with two research projects. One regarding the legal regime for the protectability of um, designs or clothing designs, fashion designs, sorry. And the other one was regarding the control of incorporation of abusive clauses in consumer law contracts. More concretely, for other colleagues that could be watching or that might see this video, it's really a matter of being in those academic groups, because through academics you will be able to find your path,
Right, right. I find it very interesting, that topic too. And it's a fact that transitioning from law school to professional life is another big step. And what challenges did you face at the start of your career? How do you overcome it?
I guess the disparity, I would say, between what goes on in the classroom and what goes on in the law firm, by again just literally, you know putting in the hard work. I mean, and I recognize also that now at this point in my life, being in a law firm, or in another attorney's law firm more precisely, is not for me. So even though I had to go through those struggles, and even though I had to, conform myself or restrain myself to certain formats and certain, let's say, legal wording, which was really challenging for me because I'm also a creative person. It was really hard. It was really hard. Maybe it's not so hard for other people or for other minds, but for mine it is. So I just overcame it literally by, in a certain sense, surviving the process. And everyone can overcome it. That's what's really awesome. But also the fact that it's everywhere. So um, the law is not our lives, right? We have a life apart from the law as well. Our families, our hobbies, again, the arts. So I think it's, yes, like overcoming the process, going through it, and but also at the same time giving yourself space and time for other things as well. You know?
Right. And also that must have taken a lot of resilience, I think. On that
Yes.
note, what advice would you give to a law student who feel overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed quickly?
Um, well, first of all, this is an I believe an absolute law or maxim. You don't succeed quickly. You don't. And if you do, watch out, because it probably might just be superficial success, and that's not success. I mean, success by definition is not just succeeding in a very isolated objective, but really like succeeding in all parts of your life, you know. And that takes time. Finding your purpose, finding the reason why you're here on this earth, why you're studying law, for what reasons. It takes time. I mean, I didn't know it, and in a sense, I didn't know it even after graduating. And it's not until recently that I found my purpose.
That's absolutely true. And thank you for that advice also. So, apart from your legal practice, you also teach, and many students admire your teaching style and passion. What drives your interest in teaching and legal education? What motivates you?
Well, that's a really interesting question, and well, I'm thankful for my students' support. I'm really honored by that. And what what drives me, what drove me in a certain sense? Well, I believe that I've always had a vocation for just helping out, just literally having a serving attitude or a serving perspective on life, like how to serve people, how to help people in general.
Yeah, that's true. We also see how much passion you had on your classes and try to make it fun. So a lot of us had a good time listening to you, and it's inspiring hearing you talking about what motivates you to this. And
Thank you.
focusing on your area of expertise, what would you say are the most useful skills for students that are interested in intellectual property law, talking about how we listen to you in the classes?
Well, definitely research. I mean, intellectual property law is something that I think is sub-research or under-researched, let's say. Trying to use as an analogy the word understaffed. It's not as researched as it should be. So knowing the basics, really having the basic concepts integrated, but also capacity to analyze the distinctions between those concepts and um, certain jurisprudence, seeing how it applies to specific cases or how it doesn't apply. And also, of course, on a practical level, I think it's important to know if you want to, be specialized in this subject matter, knowing just basically how to register a trademark. That's something that is very useful. It's something that we have to do for our clients, for the people that we represent, and it's not hard at all.
Right, that's a great advice and also true. We had to do a lot of research and read a lot of, make a lot of investigation. Thank you so much for your recommendation. I'm sure that will be very useful for many students. And that brings us to the end of the conversation. How do you
Okay.
find the interview experience today?
Yeah, I found it very lovely. It's really nice to express and give some advice, of course, to fellow students, fellow colleagues. I think these spaces are very valuable. First of all, because now that I look back, I didn't have the chance to maybe listen to a professor slash attorney at law just talk about his experience, talk about how he paved his way into this legal minefield, you know? Um, and so being able to receive that information and see how we can apply to my life directly can be very insightful. Yeah, I'm just very grateful. I'm very thankful. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Really glad also to hear that. And thank you once again, Professor, for sharing your time, your experiences, and your insights with me today. It's been a really pleasure talking with you and truly appreciated everything you've shared today.